Hey,
just in. Hannah's so full,
so full.
and her phone's gonna die.
Phone's gonna die. It's only at,
34% is my
I'm
guess.
gonna guess 29. Oh, 32. It's gonna die.
So,
It's about to die, actually, so. Also, I have a mint in my mouth. I apologize in advance.
you were like, "Are you ready?" Let me just real quick.
Literally, I was like, okay, let's go record. Anyways. Oh, got the pencil stuck in my hair. Um, let's just jump in because I
We're
feel
gonna have a
like,
lot to talk about.
mm-hmm, we got a lot to get through.
We're talking about pilot episodes. We're gonna put them in a bracket. We're gonna find our number one. These are not best pilot episodes of all time, but I feel like they just because like it was the list that we came up with one day. So it's mostly stuff that we had already seen and enjoyed, with a few that maybe one of us had not seen.
Yes. Um, yeah. I'll just elaborate that. We were like, oh, look, I'd written down this as an idea to do for a while, and so I was like, oh, let's do this. So we just start coming up with pilot or TV shows that most of them, well, okay,
What?
are there any on here you have not seen at all?
Of any
Oh
part of
wait,
the show? Yeah.
yeah, actually, there was only
When we were coming up with the list, we came up with it together, but Hannah was the one making the list. And so when it came time for us to watch the episodes that we hadn't seen, I had maybe eight, and Hannah had two, three. Uh,
well, I had already watched a lot by then, by the time you texted me.
yeah, but like that was effectively.
Anyway, we tried to stick to shows that we had at least one of us had seen or
We know this show is for Hannah watching later,
mhm.
so we had to pick shows that Hannah enjoys.
Yeah, but also I hadn't seen at all some of these.
Yeah.
But may I just say, I had a lot of fun prepping for this episode because I either watched or refreshed on 90% of these in here. There were a couple that I was like, I got that one on lock. I don't need to refresh on that one. Um, but a couple of these that were like your shows with a couple caveats were seeing things that I had never seen at all. So it was interesting to watch them for the first time and only watch the first episode to then be like, what truly is the best pilot? What is wanting me? What am I yearning to go back
She
to?
watched in the next one.
So let's just put a base. What makes a good pilot?
Number above all else makes you want to watch the next episode. And then you have things that get nitpicked because we have different kinds of shows. We've got comedy shows, we've got reality shows, we have dramas. Uh, we just have one reality. Yeah, I'm putting Who Done under there, but like
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Taskmaster.
oh, then we have two, but like they're very different kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
But it's what I think is makes a good pilot for a show that is not that has an overarching story is that it feels like all the other episodes. And there are some that I'm like, this is a good show and this is a good pilot, but they just are not the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because the reason that you make a pilot episode and then you show it, and then you get the rest of the season produced. And so, well, for some of these, a lot of these were all made as one big chunks, and then they just like we're calling the first episode the pilot episode, even though that's not exactly it. Like some of these
Just what
shows,
you do.
yeah, for some of these shows, the first episode, even though it's called pilot, might not have been the show that they like the actual like for example, 30 Rock, the actual episode that they filmed that was the pilot has different actresses in many of the roles, and like the show was slightly different things, and like and then they just redid that first episode with the changes that they made. So it's not a pilot. That's not the show that they showed to get it done, but like it's the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's slightly different.
And I will say we had a 32 seed. And then Becca didn't like one of my picks and she wanted to add two other ones. So
Because
the bracket got a little wonky.
we were listing off names, and I was like, Hannah was like, she named off all of like her favorite shows, and then we were like shows that we'd watched together. But then I was like, shows that I watched recently that were like I'm losing my mind over. I didn't even think of like, and then like an hour later, I was like, oh darn it, I should have put it on this list. And then
Yeah.
the one that Hannah wanted to put on the list was Kaleidoscope, which is notoriously none of the episodes are the pilot.
Because I thought that would be so interesting to talk about.
Which
So you could talk about any of the episodes because they're all like on the same level. You can, for anybody who
yeah,
doesn't know, Kaleidoscope is a show where you can watch it in any order, and the order you watch it in will make you think differently about the characters and the story.
I have seen
Recommend.
one episode. I was supposed to watch the whole show. When it came out, Hannah was telling different people to watch them in different orders so that we would have different opinions.
Hmm.
I watched one episode and then didn't get around to watching the other ones, which the from what I saw, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like calling my name. I probably should have watched it. I might still watch it, but like,
I recommend. I've seen it multiple times and I watched
yeah,
it in different orders, and it's a fun show. But anyway, so
we kicked that one off the list for because it doesn't have a pilot.
yeah, but then Becca brought in two
I
more.
really wanted to watch. Had some shows on, but
So needless to say, and our sister just texted us. She was like, "You guys should do this episode for the pilot," and we're like,
no,
"It's too late." But we'll probably do another one of these.
because this was fun. I'm really bad at doing homework for this, even if it's stuff I like. This one I got done. Like,
I'd love to do like we could do a smaller one of shows that neither of us have seen
yeah,
or know nothing about.
I would love to do that.
So
But let's get into it.
yes,
Here we have, and I'm just gonna go bracket by bracket instead of listing all of them off. Our first one is Psych versus
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Okay, I got thoughts about the Parks and Rec pilot. I have
Okay.
seen only a handful of the first season of Parks and Rec, but I have seen more than just the pilot. I did rewatch the pilot because I couldn't remember, but like I had an idea of what I thought it was, but I was thinking it was like the third episode. The actual pilot, this is one of the shows that feels so different from the rest of the show. Like like they have all the same characters and it's the same plot and stuff, but like the vibe is very different. It's very like it feels more like The Office than it does Parks and Rec, and like the emphasis that they give certain characters like just doesn't read as well.
Parks and Rec is one of those shows, which I think we have a couple of these shows on the list where it's like people always are like, you just have to get
Yeah,
past the
you
first
gotta get
season.
through it.
You just gotta like get into it a little bit and then it gets really good. So,
Which yeah. I
but so I this is one that I fully rewatched and so okay, what I was like I had like a little criteria in my mind as I was rewatching some of these stuffs. I number one was do I am I interested and do I want to continue watching more of this show? Most important thing for the pilot. Did it draw me in somehow? And a caveat to that, how did it draw me in? Did it make me laugh? Did it make me intrigued? Did it make me feel something? Am I curious about something? Like those were the things I was looking for. And a lot of the shows on here are comedies. So a lot of them was like, how much did I laugh in this? And I feel like this one had little moments where I was like, okay, good joke. But like I wasn't like laughing out loud.
on the whole, this wasn't a funny episode to me.
And it's up against Psych, who's also it's also funny. It's a murder mystery, but it's mostly funny. So I'm gonna say Psych.
I'm gonna say Psych for sure.
Yeah. And listen, I'm truly gonna be so unbiased in this bracket. There are a couple things in here that you think I'm gonna be being biased about, but I'm not, I swear to you.
If you can back it up,
Yeah. Okay.
let's see. Okay, so our next one, we've got Moon Knight and Arrested Development. So these ones are not both comedies
Very
anymore.
different.
Moon Knight is not one I rewatched, but I have a very solid grasp on the first episode.
I rewatched both of these.
And
And
Moon Knight, the first episode, the first time I watched it was the second week the show was coming out, so all that was out was the first and second episode. And like the first episode is different from the rest of the show, I'd say, but it is very, very intriguing and very much makes you want to watch the next episode. And you're like, where's this going? I'm
mhm.
all in for it. But it is not exactly the tone of the rest of the show.
I think this is the best episode in the show.
I'll agree with that.
Which incredible for a pilot. And this is one of the things I was saying, like, we are only talking about the pilot. You could sit there and be like, well, Moon Knight's not that good of a show, but the
The
pilot
pilot,
is great. It's up against Arrested Development, very different vibe. The pilot of Arrested Development is very true to the
Very similar to the
feel of the
show.
whole show. And I will say, rewatching the pilot of Arrested Development, like you're immediately drawn into like this is the vibe of the show. These are the characters. It was weird. It was funny. It was odd. It was just odd in the most Arrested Development way. If you guys have seen the show, you'll know what I'm talking about, but odd in a way that's like I need to see more of this situation.
It's intriguing in a different way.
Yeah.
That's one thing that they're similar between the episodes. One thing that they're very different is how they like do the exposition. Moon Knight, the one of the main reasons that the first episode is so intriguing is you don't know what's going on. You
Hmm.
don't know why, like the thing with the goldfish, and you don't know why he's like handcuffed to his bed and like all these things, and you think he works here or whatever, and you're like, what's going on is the intriguing part. But for Arrested Development, they are the first episode is them setting up what's going on and pretty much telling you what's going to be on for every episode after, where they're
Hmm.
like this is the characters, this is their situation, he goes to jail, now they're dealing with that.
Hmm.
They're both intriguing. So you're like, well, what's gonna happen next?
Hmm. But I do think Moon Knight is better.
I will say yes.
Okay.
Arrested Development is up there though. I
It
think it would
is.
beat a lot of these
It is. I
episodes.
did these totally random,
Yeah.
so I always debate whether to do them random or to set them up strategically.
In my mind, I'm like, oh, we should set them up strategically just because I want to pit similar things together. But
Yeah.
then sometimes I'm like, oh, I really don't want to pit them together because I know that this one is better than things that are dissimilar to it.
Hmm.
And
Like a couple of these, I was like, oh, when I was writing it down
yeah,
because
yeah,
I
I
was
was
like, I
like,
know one
there's
of
no
these is
way
gonna
it'll
win,
pass.
but
Anyway.
okay. Next up, Fringe versus Barry.
Okay, let me jump in real quick. These are my two favorite shows. I rewatched the pilot for Fringe, which is an hour and a half long.
Ridiculous.
I don't remember it being that long.
That's a full movie.
I don't remember the way like so it's very good at setting up exactly what the rest of the show is. It's dissimilar to the rest of the episodes in the season and in the series, but like it like the bits with the boyfriend, like I completely remembering I like he was either in the original flight or like he died like right after. Like I don't remember him being involved in how it went down or anything, and I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot. Like do you get what I'm talking about?
The blonde girl's boyfriend
Yeah,
who got the disease.
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
just
mean, he wasn't really in the pilot.
what do you mean? It's like he's in it though.
He is in it.
They're trying to save him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's not doing anything
Yeah.
in the pilot.
I just remember him dying very quickly and then
He
them
did.
like going on with their life.
Oh, he doesn't. They
It's the
bring him back.
end.
They bring him back,
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I had not seen. I haven't seen either of these shows.
You'd never seen Fringe at all.
No. I knew about
Oh,
Fringe though because it's one of our dad's favorite shows.
yeah. I thought you'd seen it.
No, I have never seen it, and I've never seen Barry. So
Barry is my
these two were
favorite.
truly like going in blind. Becca has told me about Barry, and I had some idea of what Fringe was. I thought Fringe. I honestly couldn't tell you what Fringe was about before I watched this episode. Um,
The pilot is not at all what the episodes they're not at all the same,
mhm.
and they're all about completely different
So
things.
yeah, so here are my thoughts on the two shows that I had nothing previous. This is a good mashup for me, a hard mashup for Becca.
For sure.
Fringe, an hour and a half long. Are we kidding? How long are the other episodes?
Like 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
This is 3 episodes.
Yeah.
They did get through a lot. And I will say it had me locked in at certain points where I was like, okay, shoot. But then the episode kept going. So I was like,
That's one thing where I'm like I feel like there were really compelling parts and you're like
mhm,
This is interesting. Oh my gosh, where's this gonna go?" And then
mhm.
they were like,
So if you're willing to sit down for an hour and a half to watch this, it's good because the very last bit of the episode is, oh shoot, what are they gonna do next?
"Yeah.
So there's that. Barry,
a little bit necessary for like the complicated setup of the relationships of the
yeah,
characters.
yeah.
But
Barry, on the other hand, Becca, Becca's obsessed with
this
this
is one of
show.
my favorite shows. It is just excellent. I loved it.
And Becca was telling me a little bit about that, and there was one night we were talking about it, and I was like, "Well, I think I might
I
watch this
started to
show."
tell her what happened in the first episode,
Hmm.
and then she was like, I might watch it, so I stopped.
Yeah,
And I think I got probably through the whole first episode and maybe some.
yeah. So I thought um it was kind of boring up until like the last little bit.
Yeah, I well,
Um,
the first episode is like
I believe you, it's a good show.
I love
The
this show.
pilot though just really didn't hook me.
I think what's interesting is that the episodes, not the second episode, but I think the rest of the episodes in season one, they all not like a cliffhanger, I guess. They all are just like it's so tightly written that everything just kind of stacks on top of each other and fall into place. And the first few episodes, they have to like set up the dominoes.
Mm,
And you're like, it's not as exciting
hmm.
as opposed to like some of the other like Fringe or Moon Knight, where you're already everything's all set up and you're figuring out what's going on because they're falling. Like, you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So I was originally mad at Fringe for being an hour and a half, but I think it between Fringe and Barry, I would pick Fringe.
I okay. Here's where I gotta think about it because while rewatching Fringe, I really did like this episode and I really love this series, but I think my enjoyment of the episode for Fringe was less than my enjoyment of the episode for Barry the first time watching around
Are
and
you
the second time
biased?
watching. Might be biased, but here's what I think. I get so hung up on poor acting or like poor like little choices like that Fringe is completely full of, and Barry's very well
Okay,
directed and very
are
well
you
like
saying Barry
camera
though?
wise.
Is Barry supposed to be a comedy?
It,
'Cause I didn't laugh at all.
it's not. I think there's two characters who are really funny later, and he's been nominated as a comedy. But in my
Oh,
mind, I'm never like, oh, I want to put on something funny. Let's watch Barry. I think it's a drama with comedy bits. But this is like okay, so it was in the Emmys against the Bear every single year,
mm,
minus its first year, and it
okay.
lost. But I'm like,
The Bear isn't a comedy either.
Barry is more of a comedy than the
It
Bear
is.
is.
No, no, no. I think the Bear is funnier than Barry. I've only seen
Really.
one ep, but
There's the you met he's in the first episode. The sidekick for the Chechen boss. His name is Noho Hank, and he he is throughout the show, and he is very very funny, and everything like it's just like him is funny, and everything else is not funny, and so he's kind of carrying the comedy for the series.
okay. I believe you, but the first ep wasn't it.
You gotta watch the rest of the show.
I'm
You
writing
gotta.
Fringe.
You can write French, and I'll agree with you, but I'll fight about it for a while.
Okay. Next up, we have Umbrella Academy versus Andor.
This is a tough pick.
Okay,
But I've already made my decision.
I know what I'm gonna pick as well. So we say it on three?
Three, two,
On
one.
Umbrella
Umbrella
Academy.
Academy.
Okay,
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
Okay, perfect.
Andor first episode is very good. It's very intriguing. It sets up the characters. It's very similar to the rest of the show, and it's just kind of awesome as well.
Andor, such a good. If I was to pick a series over series, Andor
Yeah.
would win, no question. But even though Umbrella Academy still is really good, Andor, the last season of Andor, masterpiece, so good. But the first episode of Andor, it's a lot of setting up. And they have a lot of flashbacks to like when he was a boy, which I don't really care for.
I thought it was gonna play a bigger part, and it
Hmm.
doesn't come. It comes up once and then never again. And when
Yeah.
it does come up, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Umbrella Academy though.
That's the first episode. You're immediately pushed into the vibe. You know these characters, not these characters, but you know their relationships, which is arguably more important. And it is intriguing where you're trying to solve a mystery kind of deal, where you're like,
Mm,
what's gonna happen because I don't know what's happening.
hmm.
Very good. I enjoy.
Yeah.
I
So
love Umbrella Academy.
it is good. The last season, not so much.
We're talking about the pilot.
Yeah, okay. These next two, interesting that they landed against each other, but we have Loki versus WandaVision.
I watched both of these for the first time today. I had
Mhm.
seen bits of both of the episodes
I hadn't
before.
realized you hadn't seen either of these
Yeah.
shows.
Well, when WandaVision was coming out, you're like, you'll have to see it, you'll have to see it. And I was like, I'm not gonna
Okay,
watch that.
I don't remember doing that because WandaVision is actually like on the Marvel TV shows. WandaVision is towards the bottom for
No,
me.
you didn't want me to watch it because you thought it was good. You wanted me to watch it for the movies that came out immediately after. And
Oh, okay.
and I would, but then I like went. It was Multiverse of Madness. I went and
Mhm.
saw that movie, knowing how WandaVision ended,
Yeah.
but like had never seen the show. And I was like,
Okay.
now I really don't need to go back and watch it if it's not a great show. And I know I've now absorbed all of its significance.
But here's the thing, Agatha all along, I really enjoy Agatha all along, and you kind of need to know about her in WandaVision to watch that.
Yeah,
But we're getting into the
we're
weeds.
getting off.
We're only talking about episode one. WandaVision, each episode is like so like first episode, I don't did it can you remember the year it said?
Um,
50s,
yeah,
60s?
50s.
One of those. Each progressing episode is the next decade. So the first one is just like I remember when WandaVision came out and we watched it, the first ep and that was all we had and we were like, okay,
Because
but
it doesn't explain what it is and it
no.
doesn't explain where it's going.
Yeah. The first couple eps
It
are
the
just like
whole yeah,
sitcom. Is that the right word?
yeah.
Sitcom.
Which is interesting because the only reason you're intrigued is because of what you know outside of the show.
Mm,
If you had never seen anything related to any of the characters or any of the shows or whatever, and you showed someone this show,
mhm.
the first episode is not that interesting.
Yeah.
Which I want to say makes it a bad pilot, but because of the context that you have to go through to watch this show, it has very good writing.
You
Like,
also though need to know context for Loki. But
yeah,
I think you need to know you're given more in Loki than you are given in
yeah.
WandaVision.
In the first episode in Loki, they tell you the what happens before and after when this show takes place,
Hmm.
knowing that the audience is supposed to know what happens before
Yeah.
or after.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. I think Loki, the first episode, is funnier, even though they're not like comedy shows, but like I'm gonna go Loki
Me
for sure.
too. Yeah. Okay. I'm ready for this debate.
Oh shoot!
Who done it versus The Muppet Show?
Did you watch the first episode of The Muppet Show?
This was one that I forgot to rewatch.
That's what I figured.
Honestly, I was going through the list and I was like, yeah, I everything I'm good. I'm good. And then I was writing these down and I was like, oh,
And you might be surprised what I'm gonna say because the very first episode of The Muppet Show is not good.
okay.
It's the first half of the first season, they're in a different theater and they
Mm,
have the show is set up in a slightly different way.
okay.
And the very first episode is not that funny.
Okay.
And I don't remember who the celebrity is, but I know that I don't remember who they
We're
were.
talking OG,
Yeah,
not the new one.
the Muppet Show.
Yeah. The new one is Sabrina Carpenter. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one either yet, but we did watch Whodunit together today, and
What?
I was ready to go to battle for Whodunit. This show is
It's
incredible.
okay. So I don't remember watching the show. This was kind of a show that Hannah watched while I was a kid, and I would kind of see bits of it. And I remember for the longest time ever that I was like very scared of the show because there's the premise is like everyone dies in each episode. A person dies in each episode, and you're trying to figure out
Whodunit.
who done it.
Whodunit and how?
There's an episode where some guy gets eaten by a tiger. Like he's in
It's
the
Mountain
kitchen.
Lion.
It's freaking same thing. He's in the kitchen like making food, and a tiger comes out of the kitchen and kills him. And
Mm.
I we had a kitchen that looked kind of similar, like or like we had just like parts of it that looked kind of like how I remembered it. And I was like, oh my gosh! Every time I get up in the morning, there's gonna be a tiger that's gonna come out of the oven and just like slice me up. This is how I remember the show. We watched the show today. And it is like just a completely like reality TV with no stakes and no like which you think it'd be like high stakes because it's like there's a murderer, we're all gonna like die, like kind of thing. But really it's like they have an op in other shows like other reality shows where people are pitted against each other, you can understand why that they're oh, I'm not gonna team up with so and so because like two people can't win, and so I have to backstab him so that he gets out of my way. Or in this episode, we're like, oh, we can't work together because then so and so will think this.
Mhm.
In this episode, There are no stakes. They could have all worked together and it would not have made anybody worse. And them not working together just hurt everybody. And I'm like, there's no reason for you guys to have done
Because
anything.
whoever does the worst gets killed next.
Yeah, that's fine, but
And
like,
they want to do better than everybody else.
I think
It was
it's
so funny.
it is funny because it's a really like I don't want to say bad reality TV, but like that kind of vibe,
Yeah.
and it will take the cake against this.
As the resident Muppet expert, I
Yeah.
believe you. Who done it?
Season 2 gets way better.
Okay. Next up, we have Monk versus The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay, so I haven't actually we didn't actually watch Monk. I never seen Monk.
Wait, you've never seen it at all?
I've seen bits of it. We talked about this today.
I thought you just needed to refresh on it.
I've seen bits of it.
You kept being like, let's turn it on. I'm like, you don't remember the password. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's why I was like, I don't know
I
what.
love Monk.
We went through the list and I was like, things in order of priority, where it was like the things I'd never seen, the things that I should refresh on, and the things like whatever. And Monk was on the top of that list, and we just kept skipping it.
You couldn't remember your password.
Yeah, that's true. But I've seen bits of it. I know what the show
I
is,
love Monk.
and I've seen
Monk,
bits.
and I think it is true to that from episode one. You know who this character is, and the you want to see more of who the character is because Monk, the character, is so interesting to watch, and the little things you learn about him as you go along get better and better. But episode one, I think you're already in it. Haunting of Hill House is an interesting one because it's uh purposefully, that's what I'm looking for, purposefully keeping you in the dark
I feel like
on
for
things.
the most of the episodes of Haunting of Hill House do the same thing, where it's like you want to keep going because you don't know what's going on, but I think the first episode does it in a poor way, where you're like, I don't know any part of what's going on, so that makes me like not want to engage at all.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the other episodes, because of the premise of the whole show, they want to keep a secret. Uh, I guess. And so like it's not revealed till the end. Whereas if it was like a different show that took place with the same things about something else, that's the kind of stuff they would reveal in the pilot. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so the first one you're like, I don't know enough to keep like it's not as intriguing as some of the other shows in the episode and some of the other pilots that we're comparing it to.
So Monk.
What's it up against Monk?
Monk.
Sure. If you say it's good, I'm sure. I think Monk, what keeps you watching it, and Monk is the character, and it doesn't matter what situation he's in.
Mm-hmm. And you
So it
kind of
doesn't matter.
immediately love him.
Yeah, likable characters get you far.
Okay, this is an interesting mashup. Once Upon a Time versus The Big Bang Theory.
Did you rewatch the pilot for Big Bang?
Yes.
I really, really like the pilot for Big Bang Theory. It's immediately funny. You immediately know the characters. This is another one I misremember because when I think of the pilot, I think of the episode where Leonard moves in, which is not in the first season. Uh, I don't know when it is, but it's like not one of the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the actual pilot, everything has already been settled, and you know exactly what's going on, and you know exactly what's going to happen because that's what happens for the rest of the show.
Well, we meet Penny in the first
Yeah,
episode.
yeah, yeah. But it's like
Yeah.
that's their
I
deal.
did laugh. I was like, this is a comedy.
I did laugh out
And
loud.
I did laugh a lot in
I
this episode.
don't remember it being that funny.
I am kind of upset because it's pitted up against Once Upon a Time, and I was gonna make some great points for Once Upon a Time, but I do think Big Bang is better.
Yeah.
Not just okay, so the pilot of Once Upon a Time like does a great job of setting up the show, and even though they're like the characters are confused about what's going on in the show, you understand about the confusion and how it plays out because if you haven't seen the show, it's they're fairy tale characters in real life, but they don't remember them as fairy tale characters, and then this girl comes in and like has to help them remember who they are. But it does flashbacks between fairy tale and present in real world. So like you know what's going on, and if you like fairy tale stories, you will like the show.
This is one that I have seen, but it's been a long time. We watched the first episode, and for like the audience knows what's going on, like you said, and what's keeping you going is not oh, I want to find out what happens. It's you want to find the characters find out what happens,
Mhm.
even though as it keeps going, it doesn't happen how you think it's gonna happen, which keeps you going because you're like, oh, then they're gonna find out what I know. But then you find out something different, and now you both know something different,
Yeah.
which is that is a way to keep going. I personally don't love the show, but
It's a shame because I do think Big Bang wins.
yeah,
But Once Upon a Times has a great opener.
yeah.
All right, we're on to the other side. What do we got, Rebecca?
Breaking Bad and
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things.
Breaking Bad was
I
one
thought it
that,
was against Grey's Anatomy. That's different.
no, Breaking Bad is one that neither of us had seen.
I had seen.
You've seen Breaking Bad?
I seen the first 3 seasons.
Okay, never mind. I'd never seen it. I thought you hadn't seen it. And you were just like, oh,
No, I'd seen
good
it.
show was to watch. So, okay, then I'll speak. Breaking Bad is widely known as one of the best shows ever, period. Now, I'd never seen it. It is on my list of shows to watch, though. I just haven't gotten around to it. So I was excited about watching the first episode. And I know what the show's about, and obviously it has some incredible uh what am what am I looking for? People have vouched for this show
Oh.
with incredible reviews.
If you'd give me 10 minutes, I couldn't have told you that word.
They vouched for it. The
This
reviews
show has some incredible vouchers.
the reviews are off the charts. Now, the first episode, I was not blown away.
Really?
However, it was good.
Did it make you want to keep watching?
I do want to still watch, but mostly that's from people saying it's the greatest show they've ever seen. Not so much as from the pilot.
I think what's interesting is that I have a completely different take on the pilot because uh I when I watched the first episode, I did not know what the show was about.
Mm.
I knew that uh I knew that I didn't know he had cancer. Like that was
Oh.
like things like that. Uh And the show is like the writing is genius. In the first episode, it's genius. The way that not that it keeps you intrigued or things that we keep talking about this one, but it's the way that they reveal information is just like for example, uh they don't have they're not like rich, right? They don't have a ton of money. The way that they introduce this is not by like how their house looks or how like things that they do in other shows. It's like the comments that they make where they're like, oh, our water heater's broken. And they're like, instead of being like, we don't have enough money for a water heater, it's like, I've been asking you for a water heater for months. Now you know why he doesn't have a water heater and you know why he's broke. Then you're like, oh, he's not telling his son this. That also reveals into his character why I don't know if this happens in the first episode. Uh what someone offers to pay for his cancer treatments and he says no. That's
Not that I remember.
okay. I don't know. It really tells you like the values
He
of the
doesn't tell
characters at the
anybody he
start.
has cancer
Okay,
in the
okay.
first episode, I don't
This is a little
think.
spoiler, but like that's not crazy. Which get that that's not like pilot what makes a good pilot, but it does make a good show, and it just sets like this perfect baseline of like this is how we're gonna give you the story,
Hmm.
and it's excellently written, and I enjoy it.
Well, how do you feel about Stranger Things?
Stranger Things first episode is written in a different way, still excellent. Same, both of these scripts, 10 out of 10. But I do think Stranger Things is more has kind of that more mystery element where like you're more likely to watch immediately the next episode for Stranger Things.
Hmm. I do agree with that.
And for that reason, I vote Stranger Things.
Okay. Oh, Kurt, okay. Then we have Lost versus Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, Lost, the first episode is a two-parter. I only watched the first part of the first episode because they were listed as two different for me. So I watched one and I was like, I checked that off my list.
This is not one that I refreshed on because I was like, I got this one. I love Lost. So where does the first part cut off at?
Um,
Because when
they get to the front end of the ship. The pilot gets taken out of the eaten, I guess,
Mhm.
and then they go back and then they're like, "What was that?" And that's where it ends.
So they're still on the plane.
I think so.
They're not on the island at all.
No, 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 they're on the island. The show opens with them on the
Okay,
island.
yeah.
They find the part of the plane that they were on
Uh-huh.
explodes, people are dying, all this stuff. They're like, we're gonna go find the cockpit of the plane that
Mhm.
is in a different spot on the
Okay,
island.
yeah.
They go there, they find the pilot. He's still alive. Oh my gosh, mysterious monster eats him,
Okay, I got it now.
and then they're like, let's bounce, and nothing else has happened.
Okay, because I believe I originally started watching this while it was on Netflix. I think that they clumped it into one first episode. So I watched it part one and part two all together.
Okay.
Anyway, um, I love Lost. And since we're just talking about the first episode, talk about I need to keep watching.
It's very, very like one thing after another.
Hmm.
How is this gonna end? How is this gonna start? Who is this mysterious thing?
Yeah.
The way that they do certain things where you're like, you know how you find it annoying that I'm watching something and I'm like, I can guess, like, let me guess what's going on, but it's like 3 seconds before it happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in Lost where the way that they frame it is exactly what they're going to do. Like, for instance, the pilot I was talking about,
Hmm.
the way that they put the focus on the characters makes you know what is about to happen, but that gives you a suspense. And I feel like that's how they wrote the episode, where they're like, we know that what you think was going to happen, but like, what if that doesn't? What if we do that
Yeah.
kind of thing? It is intriguing.
I am also sad that this is up against Grey's because Grey's Anatomy does have a really good first episode. It brings you into the kind of show that it is with the hospital and all that stuff, but it also gives you a little drama with the stuff that's happening with McDreamy and Grace, Meredith. So like already you're like, oh shoot. Oh,
That's exactly what I did when I watched the episode.
I see it. So these are both my recs. What do you think wins?
I'm picking Lost. I just Grey's. I know that I'm biased against it because I dislike procedurals. I dislike the kinds of drama TV shows that it is, and then I also just have a bias against Grey's Anatomy in the first place. But I have watched this episode, and it was I thought it was gonna be terrible, and I was like, okay, but
Hmm.
it did not make me want to watch the next episode. But I think that's just because
You didn't want to find
it's
out.
not what I like.
You didn't want to find out how
No,
McDreamy and
and
Meredith are
I
gonna
don't even
date.
care.
Here's what I'll say. This is an instant where I wish I had personally picked the bracket because if these two didn't go up against, I would have found a way for them both to win. But since they can't, I will also say lost. Okay. Castle versus Lock and Key.
Lock and Key is not one I rewatched, so I'm not sure exactly what like it's one that the first bit kind of blurs together, so I'm not
Okay.
sure where the first episode ends.
I
But I
rewatched this
do
one.
know that it's like the whole half of the first season is intrigue, is like
Mm-hmm.
what's gonna happen next, like kind of thing.
Yes.
Castle is not this; it's more of not a procedural, but like a story, like we're setting up the ways that the other episodes are gonna go, and it's not exactly what happened in the first one. I do like the Castle pilot. I don't. I just I've seen bits of Castle, but I've never like sat down and watched a show. I just dislike the main two characters. Like I just don't like the girl detective, the way that she acts just like bugs me.
And you don't
Fine
like
okay with her.
Castle?
And I don't find him charming. I don't find him interesting.
Hmm.
I just kind of think he's like a little bit of a jerk. And I that is 1000% the reason why I haven't watched this show as much as I have, much as people want me to.
Hmm.
But like
Okay.
it's a good pilot. I enjoy it. Lock and Key though,
Here's what I'll say. I
yeah.
rewatched both of these. Castle, I love Castle, and I think you get a sense you really are only introduced truly to the to Beckett and Castle, um, the two main people. There are a lot of other side characters in Castle that become bigger roles in the show, and you love them a lot. But this first episode is really just setting up who Castle is, which is important for the show, and also I did enjoy. Lock and Key is different because most of the episode is them like, oh man, we're in this new town. Nobody likes us,
I would
and
say there
the
is a
kids
bit of
hate their
that.
mom. And then at the end of the episode, or like, last third, you get into bits where it's like, boys hearing voices in the well. I have found this magic key. So like then you get into the little intriguing bits. So I want to pick Castle.
I was gonna pick Castle as well
Okay.
because I know that Lock and Key is kind of similar to what did I compare it to earlier? Friends? No, not Friends. I don't know. Where it's a lot of like you're trying to set a normal bass tone, so when something like interesting happens, you're like, "Ooh, that's interesting." Whereas they should start it with the interesting and then get more interesting,
Hmm.
so you're like in it. But
The
instead, you're
very
just like, I don't know.
first scene of Lock and Key is like, okay, what was that? But
Yeah,
then it
yeah.
completely goes away from that. So anyway, Castle. Okay, Hannibal versus Chuck.
These are very different. I
Facts.
did not rewatch Chuck. I
I did.
Every single episode or snip or anything I've seen of Chuck was in one very long session we had while we were cleaning one day. So like I've never seen anything outside of that. So it all kind of
But you
smushes into one
recommended
big
this
one.
show for the list.
Yeah, because we have it on, and I did enjoy it. It's not something that I continued to watch, but it's like I don't want to call it like crappy TV, but it's not like
When did Chuck come out?
years ago. Really, I what like 2004.
It's that era for sure.
Yeah, but it's like that kind of like this is not like high level comedy, but it is entertaining and it's got kind of a unique premise uh that I kind of like. Like I don't
Hmm.
dislike it. Hannibal, however, is a completely different show in every single sense. It looks different, it feels different, it's a different length, it's about different things.
Came out in
Very cool.
2007.
I was only 3 years off.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I don't know. Chuck does better at I think telling you. Well, actually, okay. The very first episode of Chuck is different than the other episodes of Chuck because the first episode is them setting up what's going on, and then he kind of follows her around for the rest of the episode, and then the episodes after are them like doing things because of what happened in the first episode.
True, I
And I
guess.
feel like the first episode doesn't make you want to watch the next episode.
I would disagree because so I rewatched this one. I love Chuck, but it's been a minute since I've seen it. He you're immediately like, "Oh, this is an endearing guy. I love, this character." And then he downloads the files in his brain, and so then it becomes a like, "Oh, he's got to solve this
Oh,
mystery. Like, what's this?" But then you go back to the endearing like beginning bit. Um So like I feel like you get all of that, and because he keeps getting these flashes of the stuff in his brain, you want to know what that is about.
I'm not saying it's not. I keep using the word intriguing because that's exactly what I mean, like wanting you to keep watching.
Hmm.
But I do feel like it. Maybe I just felt that the first time I watched it,
Yeah.
because I was being forced to
I
watch
want
it.
to say Chuck.
I want to say Hannibal for because all of the reasons I just said Chuck was a good pilot, Hannibal has that tenfold. It gives you. This is one I rewatched. Did you rewatch this one?
I skimmed it.
This one is so good in that it really reinforces the kind of character they want you to think Will is, and he's not. And then also they give you immediately the premise where like Hannibal is now working with the FBI to catch himself, and they don't ever tell you. They don't are not. They're not like Cannibal is the guy, but they're like they do this one bit where they're like, He's a copycat killer. Like there's someone else. Oh my gosh, she's eating him." And then it just cuts to Hannibal eating his regular dinner, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, what is happening?" Or like he makes some food, and he's like, "Do you like it?" Like, and you're like, "Oh!" Like the audience has to work for it, and it's very
Yeah.
rewarding. Whereas Chuck is not at all like this show.
I
This one
want to
is,
give Hannibal points just for Hugh Dancy.
and it has Hugh Dancy, so
I love that guy. He's on my list of favorite guys. But Chuck's is enjoyable to watch.
I would say Chuck is more lightweight.
Yeah.
You can just put it on. We might have to come back to this one.
Okay.
These are, I think, are our most dissimilar shows of all
Yeah.
of the matchups.
Okay, this is an interesting one. New Girl versus Taskmaster. I know what I want to pick immediately, but let's hear your thoughts.
Okay, this one is interesting. I don't have any like immediate like grabs for each of them.
Hmm.
I think both of them are not like they're not bad first episodes, but they are like still gaining their energy to become what they're gonna be. Especially with Taskmaster, where like I feel like a lot of the contestants don't know how they're supposed to act. Like for when they bring stuff in and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
we brought A snow globe.
Okay, well, I'll push back on that really quickly. It is true that it's the first season, first series of a show that's like very different, so nobody really knows what they're supposed to be doing. However, the setup from episode one is exactly how it is the rest of
No, I'm not saying
every
they
series and every
change it.
show. Yeah, but it's just like nobody's used to it.
Yeah.
But immediately when they get into some of these tasks, like you're like, okay, yes, like the watermelon task
Yeah, yeah.
is the perfect task for the first episode. If somebody doesn't know what the show we're talking about, it's a British TV show. You can watch it on YouTube. Um, it is one of my favorite TV shows ever. They take British comedians and they have them compete in ridiculous tasks and then they get scored on it. So the watermelon task in the first episode is truly like incredible to watch because of how they think about it differently, and also it's hilarious, and like it just from that moment on you're like in the show.
I think there's a there I think that the earlier seasons like not even just the first episode but like the first handful of seasons they have this great advantage over the rest of the show in that the contestants are not trying to act like or not like the other people who've been on the show. They're just trying to act like themselves. And the people who write the tasks are also like they don't have things in mind. Whereas I feel like in the later episodes where they're like purposely trying to write a task that like if you were to go around it this way, they're trying to like lead you into a different way. It
Sure.
makes it less funny just a
Mhm.
little bit, but these first ones like are really very good in that way, where
Mhm.
it's just like organic.
Yeah.
I do think this first episode, uh, it is just as good as I think the other ones in the season. But New Girl first episode, it's not quite like in the motion, kind of what I'm saying. It's less funny than the other episodes in the season, but it's still
Yes.
kind of funny.
I agree. You're meeting these characters and you're finding out who they are.
I've kind of talked
However,
myself into picking Taskmaster, I think.
I'm picking
Yeah.
Taskmaster because New Girl, if I were to think of episodes in the first season that tell me who these characters are, it's not the first episode. And that's really the charm of the show is who these characters are and how they interact together. The first
I
episode,
think it's just explaining
yeah,
not the characters or their relationships, but their situation.
yeah,
Which the situation's not funny, the relationships are.
yeah. So, Taskmaster.
I didn't think that would against anything, I didn't think that would go
Hmm.
win any.
So, your favorite up against my favorite, Sherlock versus Vampire Diaries.
This is crazy. I didn't rewatch either of these, but I have recently watched the first like I recently rewatched the first season of Sherlock just like in the past month
What, all three
of my
eps?
own. Yeah, that's what like
That
9 hours.
that bugs me.
That I will say I agree with that completely. 'Cause when I very first watched the first time I ever watched the show, I didn't know how many episodes there were, but I did know they were long.
Mm.
And like you'd watch one, you'd be like, "That's so great! Oh my gosh!" And you'd watch the next one the next day, and then you watch the next one, and you're like, "Wait a second,
We're done?
we just watched a third of the whole show."
Hmm. So that's a down tick, I'll just say.
Well,
I
it has
guess it's
nothing to
not
do with
it's
the
the
show.
season, you're right. It's not the first bet.
I think the very first episode, which is actually the pilot episode, you can tell the way that they shot it is completely different from the very next episode.
Mm.
Um,
So that's what I was gonna say. The first episode has a very different feel
yeah.
from all the other episodes.
The relationships are slightly different. Even though the characters are meeting for the first time, they're supposed to already have this like inherent relationship.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like a little off. And like they literally like do the colors different on the TV. Like it just feels like different. But I do think it's intriguing. I do think it makes you want to keep watching. I
Hmm.
do think it's its own great episode in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like kind of like a movie. Vampire Diaries, it is arguably better at setting up the situation
Hmm.
and a little bit the relationships because
Hmm.
Sherlock is a very relationship based drama, I guess. But in this first episode, it's not quite there. It's at the end, like where he leaves his cane. You're like, oh, it's because like but like I think Vampire Diaries for The only problem is I'm comparing Sherlock the relationship at the beginning to the relationship at the end, and the relationship at the end is so very sophisticated and much more like enjoyable to watch. Whereas in Vampire Diaries, I don't think it ever gets any more different than what it is now.
You haven't seen the whole show.
Having watched half of the show, I've watched half of the show, and the relationships change so fast that they kind of like mean less.
We're just talking
Whereas
about
like
episode one.
no, but I'm saying like the way that I'm talking about it, I was comparing it to it, but I feel like
I feel
they're the
that
same in the first
you
episode.
think from pilot to pilot, Vampire Diaries is better, but you're embarrassed to say so.
I disagree. No, I still think Sherlock's better.
No.
Yeah. I'm saying Vampire Diaries has a good pilot. But it's not as good as
I
Sherlock.
will go Sherlock if we go Chuck for the other
Hmm. I don't know about this. I think we'll have to come back.
one.
I
No.
think we'll just have to come back.
Okay. These two are very similar shows, like kind of. Brooklyn Nine-Nine versus 30 Rock.
Okay, I actually have opinions on this.
Okay.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine pilot is again it's setting up characters and relationships and their situation all at
Mhm.
one time. The pilot is very funny. The 30 Rock pilot is not as funny as the rest of the first season.
Mhm.
It has some funny lines, but it is not as funny. And I feel like especially like Liz Lemon is very like she acts differently in this episode, and I don't love rewatching this episode. Uh,
See, had the same thoughts as I rewatched it because I know the show and I think it's very funny and I love the characters. But it is an odd relationship
yeah.
just in this first ep. It was enjoyable. Um,
I think 30 Rock is a very, very, very funny show. I think it's
uh
funnier than Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but like the
They're
pilot
they're funny in different ways.
completely.
30 Rock is definitely more subtle and you have to pick up on things.
My
But then if you pick up on them, they're more funny.
It's exactly my favorite, like my favorite kind of humor where they just like have like they're telling you one main joke, but while they're telling you the main joke, they have a million other jokes that are happening at the same time. That is my favorite thing. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is much more in your face, but the
Hmm.
pilots, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is better,
Okay.
which is interesting because they haven't gotten to their groove yet either, because they're introducing the captain and he kind of dictates the relationship of
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay. I know my answer immediately for this one. Friends versus Suits.
Okay, I got thoughts. I did not. I have not seen the first full season of Suits because I quit because I thought it was boring. Which I've told people this, and they've like wanted.
Suits is an incredible show.
I people are, oh my gosh, I love Suits. Oh my gosh, it's so everyone. I was like, it's so funny. It's not a funny show.
Yeah.
Told me it was just like like a legal drama. I would have thought about it differently. I think that's greatly impacted my thing. The first episode though is great. I really, really like the first episode of Suits.
This is up there of one of my favorite first episodes of a season ever.
It is very, very
It
good.
is so good. And
Friends, it's a good first episode, but I think it is not as good.
yeah, it's not as good. You're really just learning who people are, typical for
Yeah.
the pilots, but Suits,
Suits takes it for sure. I think Friends is more of a pilot and Suits is more of like an introduction, you
yeah.
know?
Okay, Elementary versus Mr. Robot.
Okay, I want to hear your thoughts on Mr. Robot because
Mr. Robot. So this was a show that Becca insisted be in the bracket. And
it's such a good
I'd
show.
never seen it. I had heard of it, but I'd never seen it. Um, Let me rephrase. I was aware of it, didn't know what the show was about. Um, just knew Rami Malek. Uh, I didn't know in my brain. I thought he maybe was a robot. I don't know. I don't know. So, I was truly going into this blind. Um, I found it to be a little boring. Um, you know, I guess the premise is there. It's good premise, but like I wasn't hooked at any point. It didn't it okay, here's what it was. Here's what it is. The first episode is set up to be like oh, I can't believe that happened, or I can't believe that like this is the information that now we're getting, because like there's supposed to be like, I don't want to call it twists because it's not like huge reveals, but like that is kind of what they're trying to do in my mind. And it didn't blow me away, if that makes sense.
I get where you're coming at. This was one where very much like Breaking Bad, the writing is so good. It is so excellent, and the way that they reveal the information and the way that they choose who reveals the information and in what way is absolutely genius. Excellent writing, 10 out of 10. I love it. I the first time I watched this episode, I didn't know what the show was about either. I did know it was like cybersecurity. I did, but I didn't know anything else about it. And I watched the first 6 episodes in one like at a time because I loved this pilot so much. It
Crazy.
is so excellent, but I feel like it's just a lot of subtle things that I feel like you can miss very easily. Okay, and Hannah's gonna hate that I bring it up, but the way that she watched this episode, I only watched the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of it with her,
15.
like just like the very last bit where they reveal a lot of like crucial information, and she was doing other and talking to me during the episode about other things where I like paused it and I was like, "Did you catch that?" Like they just talked
And
about a
I
major
pretty
thing.
much caught it. Yes, I did everything. You were like, "Oh, did you not hear that?" I'm like, "So and so said the
I
thing."
was like, "Wait, just happened." I was like, "Pause."
That specific part, I knew I had not listened,
To the premise for the whole next season.
and I understood that I didn't hear that, so I said we rewinded it 10 seconds, and I heard it.
Oh, that's fine. But I
But
didn't
the other
pause it.
thing,
I paused it 4 separate times in
no,
the last 15
but
minutes.
you were like, "Did you get that?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I said the thing. You were like, "Okay, yeah, I
No,
guess you
no,
already got that."
didn't.
Yes,
Separate times.
that's what
Because it was the
happens.
one on the Ferris wheel, the one with her debt, the one with the where they I told you about the guy where it's not the guy you thought it was, and the one at the end
No,
where
I
and it was
even
the
said
actual
something.
guy.
I don't even remember who we were talking about, but I said something and you were like, well, I guess you're right. And you were
That was
confused.
the third to last one because I thought you weren't thinking of the right guy.
Well, I
The
was.
last one, you were not thinking of the right guy.
Yeah, I was.
No,
You're confused.
no, I know exactly because I know what happens.
I
I
know what
know who you
happens.
think that guy you thought he was, but it's not him.
I know.
This is an excellent show. But what's interesting is that we just have very different tastes in TV shows as
Mm-hmm.
well. But I really like the subtle stuff.
But we both like elementary.
Elementary's good. The pilot is actually pretty good. I really like the first season has a different dynamic than the rest of the season because Sherlock doesn't want to have a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And he learns that he does want to have a partner, and the rest of the show is him wanting to have a partner so much. Which is like you enjoy that as an audience. Where you're like, oh my gosh, they're learning like, but
I'm going elementary.
yeah, I really want to go Mr. Robot, but I know you're not gonna change your mind, so I'm gonna go Elementary.
Elementary.
But let it be known, this is an excellent show and a really awesome.
We need to go back to Hannibal versus Chuck and Vampire Diaries versus Sherlock.
Okay, here's my deal. I believe Sherlock over Vampire Diaries so much more than I believe Hannibal over Chuck. So we can go.
Okay, we will go Chuck and we will go Sherlock. All right. Back to the other side. Psych versus Moon Knight.
This one is crazy because they're very different.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I'm going Moon Knight.
I gotta think about this though because I
Moon
feel
Knight
like
just wants you that you I remember watching the first episode of this for the first time going like, that's it. I
I
need more. I need more.
I'm completely with you this one. But for a rewatch value as the first episode,
We're not
like
doing
has
rewatch value.
I know, but like, well, did you see the light just change on us? Isn't that crazy? For
Crazy.
that reason, Moon Knight. If you consider rewatch value at
Now I'm
all,
looking at the light. Okay. Moon
if
Knight.
you consider rewatch value at all, I think Psych takes it.
Sure.
Even though I do think Moon Knight has really good rewatch
And
value,
I love
but Psych
Psych.
is more
It is
rewatch.
my favorite show of all time. So Moon Knight's first ep,
Spelling bee.
crazy. Okay, Fringe versus Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy.
Oh, right off the bat.
Sure.
Hey, I'll go with you because Fringe wasn't my
Fringe is
favorite thing in the
good,
world,
but
but
it's not Umbrella. I love that's one of my favorites, top 10 shows, Umbrella Academy.
all right, Loki versus Whodunit.
Loki.
I want
And you know you're
Whodunit.
gonna pick Loki.
I want Whodunit.
Who done it is I'm surprised it made it this far.
I had so much joy watching that first episode with you.
This is
Way more joy than when we watched Loki.
I agree with that. I also agree that like Whodunit is never a show I'd watch by myself, but I feel like in a group setting, Whodunit is is a lot. It's like fun to watch.
Sure.
Whereas Loki, you're watching it to watch
And you
it.
can just jump right in. Loki,
Yeah.
you need so much backstory.
That's true. Uh, okay, but though I feel like as an episode, Loki is still better.
No, we just said.
No, I'm not disagreeing with your point, but I do think like
Okay, Monk versus Big Bang.
Big Bang. I don't care how good Monk is. Big Bang will be better.
I do agree. Big Bang. Big Bang surprised me with how funny it. Like,
Yeah.
I
laughed
usually,
out loud
yeah,
during this episode, and I am not an out loud
I
laugh.
usually do not laugh out loud. It's usually a
Yeah.
little
You
breath
give
out
me
the
a
nose. But
or I'll say that's funny.
okay, Stranger Things versus Lost.
Stranger Things.
Lost. Are you kidding me?
Stranger Things has more. I feel like it's more intrigue. Lost is like, how are they gonna get out? What's that thing? Whatever. Stranger Things is what's going on, period. You're like, how did this happen? What's going to happen? There's more things that you're trying to find out. And I think the characters there have better relationships set up, so you're already like, you like the characters more. Whereas Lost, the first episode, the first half of the first episode, I don't know what happens in the second half. All you know is their names. You don't know anything about them.
I want to come back to this because
Okay, but you know I'm right.
no. Lost is
What I said
incredible.
about the characters will win you over.
Okay, Castle versus Chuck.
Castle. I want Chuck to go further, but I think Castle takes it.
I'll agree. I personally like the character of Castle, and he is enjoyable and intriguing for me to watch, which makes me want to watch another episode. Okay, Taskmaster versus Sherlock.
Sherlock.
What?
What do you mean what?
Okay, when you were just talking about Sherlock for the first round, you were talking about it like how it is a not a good pilot.
No, I'm saying it's different than the rest of the show.
I mean, I don't know.
If you want to come back,
Yeah.
I know my answer.
Okay, Brooklyn Nine-Nine versus Suits.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No, Suits.
Convince me.
Suits? Okay, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is just like, okay, yeah, silly, funny. Suits is
Actually,
like,
you've convinced me already. Hold on. I was replaying the last bit of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine first episode. I was like, oh, actually,
it's
what?
Suits.
I think that was totally me being biased against Suits.
Yeah. Okay, we have to go back to Stranger Things versus Lost versus Taskmaster and Sherlock.
Stranger Things and Lost. Here, listen to what I'm saying. They both have intrigue. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Oh, scary monster. Who did that? Right?
Mhm.
Stranger Things has vibes over Lost. 100%. The vibes are there. I think it also has the character relationships. They're established, and the characters themselves are established. The situation is established enough that but you still have intrigue, and the relationships are a huge basis of the show. Or I think Lost in the first episode, people don't really care about each other.
Fine. What we are so it is what is going on with the light?
I feel like it must be the video because it's not that changing.
Anyway, okay, fine, fine. I will concede Stranger Things is a little bit better than Lost, only in the first episode. Okay, Taskmaster versus Sherlock.
Sherlock, bro. Sherlock.
Fine, fine. I know you're right, but I just love Taskmaster. First episode of a different season could be a different question.
I agree with that.
Okay, Suits versus Elementary. It's Suits.
Yeah.
It is Suits.
I think I like Elementary better as a show, but the first episode, yeah.
Okay, Castle versus Sherlock.
This one is interesting because it gets to that point where do I enjoy for the first time ever watching them, I did enjoy watching Sherlock more. However, I do think that Castle is a better introduction to the show
Mhm.
than Sherlock is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Sherlock as a character and as a premise to the show, you can take a 10-minute snippet at the beginning of the episode where they first go to the crime scene, and that's all the information you get for the characters for the entire episode, and the episode is still an outline.
Yeah.
Castle though uses the whole thing and develops it, and you get more for your bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm. I'm going Castle.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Moon Knight versus Umbrella Academy.
I have to pick Umbrella Academy.
Really?
It's funnier.
Convince
I feel
me.
like I'm the first time I watched it, I wanted to watch Umbrella Academy more than I wanted to watch Moon Knight because Umbrella Academy, Moon Knight is what's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on. Umbrella Academy is what's going to happen, and also what did happen. Like there's both ways,
Okay.
and it's the same thing with the relationships. The characters themselves, even if there was no mystery, you want to keep watching the characters. Whereas Moon Knight, like what's his name,
You
Steven?
don't even know the character,
Yeah,
really. I, you're making
he's
valid
like okay.
points. I agree with you.
He doesn't even know himself. And that's the show.
Who Done It versus Big Bang.
Big Bang.
I was glad Who Done It went this far, but
I would have bet money it wouldn't have passed the first one. And we're on the third round.
yeah. Okay. Stranger Things versus Castle.
Stranger Things.
What? No,
Stranger
Castle.
Things. Stranger
It's
Things.
Castle.
Everything Castle does, Stranger Thing does better as a pilot.
Like what?
Like the characters, the plot, it has vibes. It makes you there's because of the mystery element as well as the characters, there's more that gets you to watch the next episode. If you're watching Castle, you're like, I have to watch the next episode, or like oh like what's gonna happen? You mull it over.
Yeah, but
It's
I'm
more
more
of an emotional toll.
I'm fine. I can't even with you right now.
What are you talking about?
Stranger Things versus Suits. Suits.
Stranger Things,
No, no,
bro.
I will not concede
Stranger
on this.
Things,
I will
bro.
not concede on this.
Then go back to the other one. What's the next one?
Umbrella Academy versus Big Bang.
Uh, I here's these are very different shows.
Yes.
Big Bang is exactly what it's trying to be and fast.
Uh-huh.
Umbrella Academy, I think it is almost what it's trying to be, but because that is like more of an unusual thing to the audience, like we know what a sitcom is, right?
Hmm.
We know what like the kinds of characters we know they're like archetypes
Hmm.
for Big Bang, and then they are that, and then it's funny and you're into it.
Hmm.
Umbrella Academy, unusual way of telling a show, unusual characters, unusual like it's all new to you. And they use that, I feel like, a little bit to be like kind of in this eccentric show, which is hard to keep up. But I think I never
Here's what
really,
it comes down to for me. Umbrella Academy is intrigue.
yeah.
Big Bang Theory is funny. So do you find it more funny or are you more intrigued to go back to the next episode for each show?
Um, I'm trying to think. I was like the most recent time I watched both of these, did I watch the next episode right after? And I think I definitely did for Big Bang Theory. But I'm like, did I watch the next episode immediately for Umbrella Academy? I don't have an answer for that. I don't remember. What are your thoughts?
I would think Umbrella Academy.
Let's go Umbrella Academy then.
Because I don't know, it just feels something will get me to watch something the next, like, I need to find this
Yeah, yeah.
out more than that was so funny and enjoyable.
I agree with that.
Another, please. But okay, Stranger Things versus Suits.
Then can we not use the same thing that you just said? Stranger Things has
Well,
a mystery. Suits has a secret to hide.
okay. So, but you want to know what happens with him hiding the secret in the sense of how is he going to do this?
Uh,
What is this scenario in the where this
always
becomes
with a secret. If you introduce a secret, it's always what's gonna happen when it gets find out. How long is it gonna be until it gets find out?
hmm
Because you never get away with a secret. Not only does that never happen because it's not enjoyable to the viewer, but like it's implied that he will get caught.
but also in the first episode, you I lost it. I lost my train of thought.
Okay.
No, 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 no,
I
no.
got other things I can jump in if you're still thinking.
Keep talking and I will remember it.
It's the keeping a secret that is like so that is the intrigue for this episode where you're
Oh,
like
I found it. He schools Harvey in the first episode. And you're like, this kid is like, I don't want to say smarter or better, but like, you're like, oh shoot, I want to see what he does next because Harvey is supposed to be the best and he just wasn't the best. That's where in the first episode you're like, I am locked
you're
in.
like this kid has potential.
Yeah.
You want to see what will happen for the sake of it happening. Whereas Stranger Things, you're like, I must uncover the secret. It's more of a toll on you. I feel like
Hmm.
it's more in your head where you're like, I must find out what this happens. And
Yeah.
I think that makes you want to watch the next episode more. The
But
way that we're saying, I feel like that we're saying it as a negative thing, but I do feel like that is what I like about it.
yeah, you're saying Stranger Things is a burden, and I'm saying Suits is enjoyable.
No, that's not at all what I'm
That's what I
saying.
heard.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it's more emotional. I feel like you're more engaged.
From the first episode, though,
Yeah,
I don't think so.
this kid is missing.
I do not agree.
Uh, I don't know about this because I know neither of us are gonna move.
It's Suits. It's Suits.
No, bro,
You're
no,
being biased.
no, not.
Stranger
Suits,
Things,
the
as a
suits.
whole, better show.
Okay,
But the
let's
first episode,
say what I want to say. I have a new thing about Suits. One part that I really really enjoy about the Suits pilot is the bit where where he's what I can't remember exactly the suitcase in the hallway like with the cops and stuff.
yeah.
That is kind of heisty vibes, kind of
Yes.
like, oh, how's he gonna do this, make this happen, kind of things.
Yes.
You want that emotion to be kept through the whole show because you're like, oh, he's got a secret, how's he gonna make this happen, like all this. But I don't think that it's sustained, even throughout the pilot, where you're like, oh, this is not
Hey,
exactly what
you're
I'm talking
thinking
about.
about the whole show.
Pilot.
No, you just said the show, and the way you're talking about it, you're
No,
thinking about the show.
no, because
The
at the end of the
pilot
pilot, he
only?
gets away with it. So the feeling that you're left with is how is he going to continue to do that? Whereas you're looking for the same information, whereas Stranger Things, you're looking for new information. It's more intriguing.
It is more enjoyable though. Suits.
That is subjective. I disagree with that. That's all subjective, but like that is like not a good
But
argument,
that's
I
what we're
guess.
talking about.
Subjectiveness or
Well, we're being subjective
what
in
is
this
more
whole
enjoyable?
bracket.
The first time I watched Stranger Things, I got more enjoyment than the first time I watched Suits.
No.
That's where the vibes come in. The
No.
vibes bring it to a new level.
I just can't.
The vibes make it more
I
enjoyable.
just
It's more of its time. It's got its own thing going.
I cannot agree with this.
What happens then if we can't
I
agree?
don't know.
Here, okay, new question. It's up against what? Umbrella Academy?
Yeah.
Let's go then. Umbrella Academy versus Stranger Things
This
and
is
Umbrella Academy versus
this has
Suits.
never happened.
Umbrella Academy versus
I
Stranger
would pick
Things. What would you pick?
Umbrella over Stranger,
But you would
but I
pick
would pick Suits
Suits.
over Umbrella.
That's crazy. Well, let me think. Because definitely I would pick Umbrella Academy over Suits. For very similar reasons I'm picking Stranger Things over it. But I'm actually getting caught up for the Stranger Things versus Umbrella Academy because
This is
they're
crazy.
different reasons that you want to watch them and completely different vibes and completely they're just very different. It's very hard to compare.
Are we gonna have to leave this open-ended? We're gonna have to get other people to weigh in our
This is
lives. This
crazy.
is crazy. We've honestly never been able to finish a bracket. Like never been able,
I have
not
put
been
out
able.
all my arguments and you've come back with not like disassembling my argument, but coming with your own argument that doesn't exactly attack mine.
What are
And
you talking
like
about?
this is what I'm saying. We've come to a standstill and like
Hmm.
we can't reason this out is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not either of our faults. But like
As I'm saying,
neither of us are gonna change our mind
we have to
about
take this
this.
to the streets.
Oh man. If you guys got an opinion, those four people that are listening to this who are not Hannah, because you're not allowed to in the comments be writing stuff down.
Okay. Um, I honestly don't know when this episode is going out, but we will take
Well,
it to the streets, address other people, and come back and let you know.
I feel like though, if we're taking the finals to the streets, we gotta let them weigh in. Not weigh in, like we won't change our answers, but we gotta tell us our reasoning because we're using our reasonings for other shows, why they beat other shows for
Sure.
these ones.
Sure.
Got like fire combo.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay.
This is never. Are we in agreement?
No!
Absolutely not. Which we make fun of it. We're like, oh, we disagree all the time in person, and then when we're on the pod, we can finally agree. Not the case today.
This is crazy.
A complete standstill.
I don't even know how to end this.
I feel like an
We have
abrupt
no
cutoff
winner.
is much more suitable.
Okay, bye.
Bye.